objectives. Now, there are few things that you need to take into consideration. What do you want to pursue in your life? That you should be very clear about. Where you want to see yourself after next 10, 5, 20 years, that should be very clear with you. Whatever career objective you mention, be consistent and also decide on the priorities of your life. Interview is not an impromptu process. You need to rehearse. You need to rehearse intrapersonally also. And for that, you need to be very, very sure about what are the priorities of your life. Okay, then subject knowledge. How do I brush up my subject knowledge? That is very essential. Now, I would say it's very simple. If you want to prepare about your subject, do this thing. I always tell my students that you have to have your course file. Now, your course file is something that from your FY up to your post-graduation to your research, what you do is you mention all the subjects that you have studied in your first year. Also prepare 1 page worth of information on that subject. What were the topics taught to you? What were the keywords that you learned? So just before the process of your interview, the day before your interview, you can very quickly revise. You would know what were the topics taught to you. That is very, very essential. Okay, why do I need to know anything about general knowledge at all? The reason is you can't create an island of yours. You live in a global society, and with information at the fingertips, all the employers want their future players to be well versed with the current affairs, well versed with the global events. So naturally, you have to have the curiosity about world events. You have to have the analytical ability. Televisions would come up with news stories over and over and over again. They would stretch it beyond imagination. What are the points that you would like to focus on? What are the things that you should know? How well you understand these concepts. If you don't understand, approach your faculty or the expert of that field and try to analyze the situation, how that is going to affect us as a nation, how that is going to affect us as human beings, and how that is going to affect you as an individual. So you have to have the potential for coherent perception of multiple events. That is one of the aspects of emotional intelligence also. Okay, what are the things that I prepare? I would say you need to know about social issues. You also need to know about the political happenings in your country. You need to know about economic, scientific, environmental issues, and you have to know who's who, the key news makers. Because these key news makers are always on the television. You can read about them in the newspapers, and these are the people who frame the policies, and then the policies are later implemented, and these policies in the longer run are going to affect the organization. So any employer would like to know how well you have that general knowledge. Now, preparing interview file, Sarvayasa, is very important. What are the things? I sometimes find my students, they come up with certificates of merit. Okay. What they would do is, they would twist it and they would bring the twisted copy to me. Okay. I would say, this is your certificate of merit. This is going to help you in the longer run. So what you need to do is, you need to be very, very protective about all your certificates. So you can get all your certificates laminated. Prepare one very good file in reverse chronology order. Exactly. Starting from your latest achievements first, up to your previous achievements. Don't bring all the certificates. If you pass 12th, it automatically proves that you have passed 10th. So when you are applying for a job, there's no need that your 10th certificate should be coming first. Actually, it should be your last degree. So you have to have the interview letter with you. You have to have original degree certificates laminated in a decent manner. You have to have the experience certificate. Reference and testimonials also you can carry with you. The certificates of merit should be kept separate. What you can do is prepare one album or prepare one documentation where at the outset you mention the index, that next few pages would be my educational certificates, then next few pages would be my certificates of achievements, next few pages would be my experience and references and so on. You need to have your number of copies of resume. Who knows, you might require them. If you have your visiting card, Please also carry your visiting cards with you, and of course you need to carry your passport size photographs also. Okay, it's very simple. You don't require to be a rocket scientist to know what are the aspects that you take into consideration. The first thing that would come is interview. In the process of interview, you have to speak. So your communication ability should be there. You must be able to speak fluently. You must be able to speak very clearly, slowly, and with a proper articulation, avoiding non-fluencies as far as possible. Non-verbal gestures, some of the non-verbal gestures that I have already talked about, have to be taken into consideration, especially when you walk into the room. That is your only opportunity to create the first impression for the employers and for the panel who takes your interview. Also, you need to properly encode the message.
Exactly.
My dear friends, I would be hoping that you know what encoding is. Encoding is transforming ideas into symbols, whether verbal or non-verbal. So when you agree, naturally you would nod your head in a positive agreement. When you disagree, you would do it in a totally contradictory manner. So how do you encode your messages in the process of interview? That is very, very essential. Please.
I have a question. How to answer effectively to a question when one's mind is occupied in do's and don'ts of behaviorism and mannerism? As in, one may goof up with the answers in concentrating on these aspects like behaviorism and mannerism.
I would say don't over expect.
Exactly.
Because one of the mistakes that all the people do when they sit for an interview is not focusing on the present question and anticipating the next question. When you are in the process of anticipating the next question, naturally your mind would not be focused on the question that is asked to you. So when a particular question is asked to you, remain in the present. Try to answer that very question. And if you give that answer wonderfully, pat your back mentally and tell yourself that I owe you one more chocolate.
Yeah.
Because that's how you positively motivate yourself. And supposing if you answer negatively and if you realize that you have made a mistake, don't worry. All the people do mistakes. So the thing that you can do when you are answering is being very honest, backing your confidence and focusing on the present answer. I think that satisfies your query.
And one more thing I would like to suggest here, that if you commit a mistake while answering the question sometimes, so always keep one thing in mind, that it is not that particular question which would decide the result of the interview. It is the interview in totality which matters more. So, always, self-motivation is extremely important. Feel confident when you speak. Even if you commit a mistake, you have to have the guts to say that, I don't know sometimes. So there is nothing wrong in it, because it is not that particular question which matters more than the totality of the interview, outcome. So that is more important. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. One of the other things that you need to take into consideration is the mental agility. That is what I was telling you about.
Here also.
Mental agility would motivate you to focus on the present question. I would tell you one incident where the army officer's interview was going on, and the hypothetical questions are always asked in the interview. And the person who was asking questions in the interview wanted to know the stress level of the candidate. So he said, look outside the window and see the submarine is coming there on the road.
Okay.
Now what would you do? The candidate smiled and said, I would pick up my torpedo and destroy that ship. The colonel asked, how would you bring your torpedo? From where would you bring your torpedo? The candidate smiled and answered, so the same place from where you have brought your steamer, the same place I would bring my torpedo. So that is what mental agility is all about. Try to find out a crispy answer. Don't make overstatements. Sometimes in confidence you tend to forget the boundary between arrogance and confidence. So mental agility would not come overnight. It comes through a lot of reading. You need to read a lot. You need to read funny incidents. You need to play chess. You need to fill in jigsaw puzzle. You need to read questions that are frequently asked in the interview. That's how you keep your mental agility going. Consistency is very important. I would say there are 3 C's of the interview which are very, very important, and one of the C is consistency. If you make some statement, stick to that statement, because the life objective can't keep on changing every minute. So what you are, back your confidence. Even if that takes disagreeing with the panel of the interviewer, you can always very politely and very systematically, logically put your answer saying that your opinion may be right, but I hold this philosophy of life and I would go ahead with my philosophy of life. So don't change your statements too often. Yes, please.
Question.
Yeah.
In this case, maybe our answer will hurt our chances of success either in that job or further down the line. So, how do we handle such a scenario where what we say might adversely affect our prospects?
As Professor Sarvaiya rightly pointed out before few minutes, your interview is not once and for all. You would get other opportunities to give the interview as well. What you should feel confident about as a human being is your priorities of your life and your principles must not be compromised. So if you get a job by lying, if you get a job by giving answer dishonestly, you won't enjoy that job and your employer won't enjoy working with you. So I would say don't be tempted with the immediate goal. Of course, the immediate goal is a prime concern, but that should not force you to change your priorities of your life and your life objective, because it has been proven psychologically also. Polygraph test says that when you lie, you don't remain the same. Even your eye contact, when you are lying, when you are giving a dishonest answer, your eye contact would not be the same as it would be in normal circumstances. So I would say you need to be consistent with whatever you say.
That's why perhaps they say that non-verbal communication is more reliable than verbal communication, because it is very difficult to control our gestures and postures and facial expressions, rather than verbal, because it's your hands are not in your hands. That is what they say, because if you try to deceive someone, if you try to cheat someone, by verbal messages you can do that, but by non-verbal, because it starts happening, you don't need to activate them. It gets activated automatically. So you have to utilize them to be more what we say, correct.
True, that's the reason why people say that eyes don't lie. Yes, please.
You have done a question? Yeah, please.
Sir, sometime in interview we are asked some very tricky questions. Like I was asked once that tell me something about yourself which is not mentioned in your CV. So it is a very tricky question. So at that time, how should we reply that question?
I would quote one rubai of Omar Khayyam.
Okay.
Omar Khayyam said that मुझसे मेरा क्या रिश्ता है, अपना रिश्ता भूल गया, इतने आईने देखे हैं कि अपना चेहरा भूल गया. Every day we do a lot of activities, we talk about other people. It's very easy to find out strength and limitations of others, but what about our own selves? So unless you go through the process of intrapersonal communication, unless you know your strength and limitation, you are expected to talk about yourself at least. So if you can't talk about yourself very clearly, that means you don't have a knowledge or you don't have a control over your own self.
Exactly.
So that's the first thing that any candidate should start preparing. What is my strength? What is my limitation? And if it is a limitation, that's perfectly okay. All the people cannot be masters of all discipline. So you need to feel very confident and you need to feel very positive about life. That's the thing that you can do. So of course this type of question is likely to come where they would ask you that tell us something about yourself, and the moment you would start, my name is Nigam Dave, they would say, that we know. You tell us something different than that what is written in your resume.
That we don't know.
Yes.
That we don't know.
That we do not know. And when they ask you this question, remember, they do not see you as an object, they see you as a human being.
Exactly.
What you are as a human being. So try to talk about what you are as a human being rather than what you are as a candidate on the pages of your resume. I hope that satisfies your answer, please.
Still, there is one more question.
Please.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, please.
So sometimes it happens that due to stress we have certain questions and knowledge which are on tip of our tongues, but when they ask us we tend to forget. So shall we ask a break or a pause so that we can remember that question, or we shall quit up? In that situation, what shall we do?
I would say this is a very tricky situation. You can take a pause, of course. It is said in non-verbal communication that every individual has his own space. Now this space is not just the physical space. The chair on which I sit, this is a chair given to me in all honor. So I can afford to relax a bit on this chair. Likewise, I have my psychological space. So I can
Exactly.
afford to relax a bit.
Yeah.
But the interview has to be spontaneous. So you can't just wait for 5 minutes, let me think about your answer and then I would give the answer. That would be a wrong thing. So if you feel that you are not very comfortable with this question, you can always say, sorry, I do not know the answer. Rather than thinking about it a long time. And if this 2 or 3 minutes is very crucial. When you are anticipating the answer, you are nervous because you are not sure whether your answer would be correct or not. So that nervousness would make you all the more nervous.
Yeah.
So rather than engaging in risky territory, quit that question immediately because in all possibility the other question would come and you would be able to prove that other question, you would be able to answer that other question very clearly.
Because sometimes these small silences gets little longer, and the longer silences make you more nervous. So better, a presence of mind is always required here. So if you don't know, say you don't know, right? It's very difficult to say I don't know. Even for the people who are sitting on that side of the table. So at least you are better than them. You can prove yourself. That's it. Yeah.
So I would say honesty is the key to the
Exactly.
success in the interview. Self-confidence. Now, how do I develop my self-confidence? I was talking about the technique of auto-suggestion. Auto-suggestion is visualizing a positive image. Let's say the day before the interview, you would visualize a situation that tomorrow at this point of time, I would be in the interview room, I would be cracking through all the questions with all the confidence, and at the end of the interview, I would be very happy. People would compliment me for my efforts. I would come home. I would break in this good news for my members of family. They would be very happy, and I would be giving them a party, and my successful life would start. Rather than thinking negatively as to tomorrow, what would happen if I am not able to answer this question correctly, you train your mind. It has been always said that the battle of nerves is the key.